And we are live.
Good evening, everybody. This is Meredith and Nita. We are raging with our special guest this evening, April Grady-REYNA, episode 12. Raging. I'm going to drop the card. Hey, peekaboo.
Good evening.
Good evening. Now, April, you've got some major creds that I want to talk about, like Big Dog Inc., Coffin Comics, among other things.
Oh, and then my favorite, The Naughty Fairies.
Oh,
my God.
Wendy Steen Shaner is she is out there hustling.
She is. And she's got Naughty Super Fairies 5 that's got 2 more days on Kickstarter.
Okay. All right. Nita, you got that one?
I got it.
All right. We make sure that we share that out too. So, yeah, I mean, it is, it has been kind of fun. Oh, and you know what? We need our little, our warning label there. The TV, DLSV, whatever.
Oh my God. What the hell does DLSV stand for?
Drugs, language, sex, and violence.
Oh, fantastic. I feel like we need like a backup group of people that can knock around. Get under my desk.
Right. Our good friend Carl added whatever, because you just never know what might come out of our mouths on any given day. But
I'm being extra cautious at this time.
Yes, I know. Nita has been in Facebook jail. But so
still waiting for my first offense.
Well, go in the comments right now and say, Meredith, if you were my child, I'd beat your ass. And then,
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, because I'm hoping not to get pulled for, October of this year.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Do not threaten to beat your online self.
April, I want to know how you kind of broke into comics. Was that something that you've always wanted to do, or was it like, I don't know, in some cases it's like a happy accident, or like, I didn't mean to be here, but here I am and I love it. So.
Okay, we're going to go to the way back, if that's okay.
Yes.
I figure, we might push your 90-minute time limit and go with that.
Travel is awesome.
Okay, so if you can imagine seas and seas of cornfields as far as the eye can see, that is where I came from, in the middle of Illinois. Like, nothing's around there, right? So I never had a comic shop. Like, I didn't grow up reading comics, but the moment Mortal Kombat came out, we always wanted to do like a little comic or something. And it's the star-eyed 8-year-old, whatever. Fast forward to when I actually am able to start making my own decisions. My parents had me in art classes and piano lessons just to get us out of the house. We lived out in the middle of nowhere, like literally 7 miles out of any town. So it was a thing. We were getting close to graduation of high school, and a friend of mine handed me a coloring packet. He's like, fill this out, turn it in at this address. And of course, this is before MapQuest. I missed it like twice, and let that be a thing. And I was just like, whatever. So I did, and they're like, you got potential. Here's another color packet. Come back again, but I want you to work on this, this, and this. And I got hired at Heroic Age Studios. I'm like, what? And they're like, okay. So it turns out they did color separations for DC Comics. Like, what? Oh,
yeah.
So,
it's like, oh yeah, you're punking me, right?
Right. That is exactly what I thought it was. So here I am, 17 years old, doing learning how to do Photoshop and how to do files for DC Comics. Now, I wasn't credited as April Reyna or even April Grady because I wasn't married then. I was under the umbrella of Heroic Age Studios, and we were independent contractors. That team, taught me who Stan Lee was. They taught me where the comic book store was. They took me to my very first Comic-Con and taught me what a professional badge was, or how to show my portfolio. That was the most amazing experience ever. But I also realized that after 2 years of doing that I wanted to go to college or whatever. Yeah, so being an evil scientist didn't work out. Calculus 2 totally wiped the floor with me.
Oh, no.
And after 4 years of trying to become an astrophysicist, I just switched to art. I was like, fuck it. And, which turned out pretty good because I wound up pregnant and delivered during midterms. So it was just, yeah, which was great though. My professors, God love them, let me bring my eldest child with me to class for that last 6 weeks. And I made the dean's list and kinds of shit. It was crazy. I didn't know until I graduated like a year later, but it happened. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's awesome.
So 2 weeks from graduation, Tess Fowler, I think she's under Tess Gutierrez now. She got married too. She was like, April, like, you're already a fan of comics. Why aren't you doing this? I really didn't have a good answer. 2 a.m. in the Marriott Hotel at Phoenix Comic-Con, and I'm sitting there going, oh my God, am I really planning out the rest of my life? This is fucking awesome. Yeah, let's do it. Like, I literally slept on it for like 2 weeks. I was like, what do I do next?
The enthusiasm of youth, man.
Well,
it's like you don't know what you don't know.
Well, yeah, but I was 27 by then. Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's one thing to draw and illustrate. It's another thing to break into comics. Like, it's a whole nother beast. Yeah. So I started doing little pictures and showing them to the comic store owners. And I'm like, what do I do? And they're like, hey, we're going to do an event. Why don't you come sit at a table? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was like, well, the natural progression is to go into the con, right? So yeah, and it just built from there. And before you know it, there was like an anthology for the Smiths, and I got to do that. And I wanted to do the Nine Inch Nails one, but they were already full. And I'm like,
you can say fuck here.
I know, but my kids are upstairs. So I'm going to say it. I'm just not going to say it with the enthusiasm.
Right.
The desk, you know? And I swear all my great ideas come from the Nine Inch Nails concert. So I was just really heartbroken. It's like, God, I know, it's stupid, but, whatever. So anyway, yeah, so I've gotten to do some sequential art. I've gotten to illustrate some children's books. I've gotten to self-produce indie-created books. My best friend, Melissa Stacy, she wrote the most amazing book called. It's the first book of 4, and so she'll ever do the other volume. But I mean, that was set up straight up like a comic book, and so I was like, yeah. So I did like 3 issues of that before I got busy with life or something stupid, and haven't been to. My art has evolved to the point that I want to get back to it. I mean, it's badass. It's got the pages.
Are you showing?
Well, yeah.
All right, let's do that. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, I mean, but they're not like, I gotta go back and do stuff. But I mean, overall, it's all right. But it's violent, and it's got like a cast, like alive and stuff, and there's wings. And who doesn't love wings?
Wow.
Nice.
So
That
Tom
is gorgeous.
Hutchinson did a portfolio review with me on it, gave me some notes, and now it's time to get to it. Because I like very nearly ran over Raven.
Oh no, don't do that.
Oh,
That
wow.
is gorgeous. That looks like hollow foil. Wait a
That
minute.
is my favorite DC character.
Oh,
My
that is
my friend
pretty.
Shelby Robertson colored it for me, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one that he signed. I'm like, oh,
That is hot.
thanks.
Oh my
I
god.
literally like that whole thing underneath my printer. That's all prints. I gotta get rid of them somehow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that is gorgeous.
Thanks.
Absolutely gorgeous.
So
yeah.
So about 2 years ago, I started trying to get professional work, and a friend of mine's like, "Yeah, Dynamite's looking for artists for Betty Page," and I'm like, "Yeah." So I got into sketch cards, and I think I've done about 12 sets for Dynamite so far, including Dawn, the 30th anniversary, Vampirella, Red Sonja, Kiss, the band. Yeah.
Did you get to ever meet any of the guys from Kiss?
It's COVID the whole time. I don't know.
Bummer, man.
But I swear to God, I come up with like the craziest com stories ever. Like running into what's his name, Michael Rourke at Starbucks, or I got hit with a poster with the Insane Clown Posse. I don't know, whatever. Like
What?
Oh, Lou Ferrigno's daughter gave her the wrong change. My whole life is just nothing but bullshit. It's crazy.
I love it.
And you seem so quiet and like, oh, you know.
Oh, I'm the least cool person ever for this stuff to happen to. I am just like, my husband's like, oh my God. I'm like, I never said I was cool. You married into them. He's like, this is bullshit. I should have been. I'm like, I know. That's what happens when you're not there at 3 a.m. smelling of booze and despair. What do you want from me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's hysterical.
I mean, when I like artists, don't be afraid to show your work. Show your work. Show your work. And there's something like seriously wrong with me. I don't pick small people to look at my portfolio. I don't know what's wrong with me. I swear to God. Like I think about this now as it's coming out of my mouth, and I'm like,
because you dream big, girl. Get it.
I guess like my very first portfolio review was with Ebass. He sat down with me for 2 hours and like, draw me somebody walking. I'm like, But he set me out on the path. Like, what do you want to do? Like, are you be a cover artist? Are you wanting to be an illustrator? Are you wanting to be a colorist? Like, what do you want to do? I want to draw pretty pictures. He's like, focus.
Boom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Stuff. So my portfolio review has been with Ebass. It's been with Tim Seeley. It's been with oh my God, I'm space casing, the guy that did Green Arrow, Phil Hester. Neil Adams was walking through, and I was like, hey, you want to look at my stuff? Tell me, give it to me. I'm like, I went to art school, I can take it. I don't know. But I've also had my work reviewed seriously with Aspen Comics and with Coffin Comics, and was able to, I don't know. I was drunk. I don't know. And I was like, Brian, can I draw your character, Lady Death, for a charity poker tournament? He's like, yes. I'm like, oh,
wow.
I expect that to work. Yeah. And then he was like, and so once it was all done, and oh my God, I can't believe I finished. That was a little I forget to be humble sometimes. I was drinking so much, and I won against the Red Power Ranger. And I'm like,
Bruce might have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, right. So I'm about ready to do a lap around 3 tables, and I realized, that's not very nice. And so I sat down and was like, very sorry, sir.
Oh my God.
With trip twos. Because I'm not cool. I don't get like the flash. I win with the river. It's fine.
Oh my God.
Anyway, yeah. So Brian Polito, God bless him, was like, "No, I really like this. I think that you should turn this into a cover. Like, email me after the show." I'm like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Nailed it.
yeah. So I sent him something, and he was like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I can do better." I sat on it for like 2 weeks, like a weird manic person.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can do better. And so I did. And he's like, "Hey, I like that one better. Yeah, let's do it." I'm like, "Ah."
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. And then I'm hoping to have something released with BDI soon. I don't know. We'll see if that comes out. But I was like, "Tom, I'll do this for free if you give me an honest to God crack at a cover." And he's like, "Whoa, well."
Mm-hmm. And he's like,
I know.
let the negotiations begin.
Yeah. I tell you what, I get myself into so much trouble, and sometimes it pans out, and I'm like, woohoo! So, with any luck, coming this summer, maybe, kind of, sorta, I'm excited. He's given me the opportunity to showcase how I create my art on the Artist Alley Shopping Network.
Mm-hmm.
Shameless plug, Artist Alley Shopping Network on Friday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. I go through and pick something to create, and right now it's Mermaid Fever. So I use all kinds of stuff. I'm using like the Copic airbrushing system and Copics and colored pencils and paint pens and
Glitter.
oh God, I have a case of this shit and it's awesome. It's the good stuff, the stuff that you're like, oh, I'm gonna open this and it's not gonna come out like a, like I rubbed up against a stripper and get in trouble with my spouse. Oh, this is the good stuff that seals and coats and caresses your artwork for years to come.
I always feel like such a creeper when I go in and watch people art. Like I don't know, it makes me feel like a stalker. And I do it all the time, and I'm just like, I won't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say hello, and other times I'm just quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I was I was laying in bed at like, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm just like spent from the day, right? And I never turn on the volume ever. Like somebody will be doing a video and I'm just like, I'll watch for a couple of minutes and then I move on. Well, in the process of sliding my finger across, it activated the video.
Oh,
and
shit.
all of a sudden it was me saying, "Hi, April." And I'm like, fuck. And my husband's like turning over in bed, like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. And then of course you're panicking.
Like, turn it off.
Yeah. Oh my God. And of course it was so loud.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, fun fact, I very, very skittish horse. I was so excited when meeting Nei and Raven Gregory, and of course we're all really tight now, right? But like back when this first happened, oh God, like 7 years ago or something, I was like, she was drawing something or signing something for me, and I got so excited that I made a little squeak noise. She was like, "What was that?" I'm like, and I ran, I bolted. Oh my God, I practically knocked somebody down. It was crazy. And then
it's like laughing and snorting, right? You're like, no, you didn't see that.
Oh my God. So then of course I cycle back in after, and so when I get embarrassed, I turn beet red like any good Irish girl would. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's insane. To the point that you almost start sweating a little bit. Yeah. So, or a lot. But we glisten, we glow.
That's the story. We'll stick into it.
Yeah. So 15-20 minutes go by and I come back around and she's like, "There you are, make that noise again." I bolted again. I was like, oh my God. And she couldn't shut up about it. She's like, "Raven, Ebas, like, listen to this noise that she made. It's so cute." And I'm like, just scream.
It's like, how are you going to take me as a serious artist if I'm
I'm never gonna be. So now I've just kind of owned it.
Oh yes, and they remembered you.
Right. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. But now like I just kind of I like I'm so weird. I'm so bipolar with my art. Like I'm either drawing My Little Ponies or I'm drawing nudie naked women. So these come out as really great censorships. And of course you get that person always like, hey, what's under the screen? Like, Jesus, you want to see? Which usually winds up in a sale, so I don't mind.
Oh my goodness.
But it becomes like, you know, the flasher kind of thing where you're like, no kids. Okay.
That's amazing.
Here's the thing, though. I always sign up for like free kids sketch day or something. So it winds up being like the hush hush under the table, like conspiracy acts or
like,
whatever.
You know, like you're covering your test paper or something at school.
Yeah. You're not looking up my homework. There'd be boobies under there. My calculator.
Oh man.
No.
So
I think my coffee's kicked in. I'm gonna stop drinking that.
I did want to ask you something about you know, like so covers, cards, children's books, sequential arts and things like you know, those things. All art, yes, but there's a different mindset when you have to work on them. Is there a particular one that you kind of lean towards that you really enjoy?
You know, I'm rocking the 6x9s, the smaller pieces. You get all the extra detail that I would put in on any piece, put into one thing, and I sell them for relatively cheap so that they're affordable. When I start doing cover art, like that's 11x17, that's full on insanity going on into those pieces. Detail work, hair, eyes, whatever. Like it's supposed to draw a crowd, and therefore that extra time you wind up having to fold into the cell of that cover. And let's face it, I don't know about you guys, but when you start trying to support everybody, you can always get the one thing that you really, really find. And it takes, you know, that special somebody to go, wow, that, you know what, if you take it home, it's going to a good home. It's hawked up on eBay someplace. And they sometimes, you know, will I don't know. They don't give it away, but it feels like they give it away by discounting it a little bit, knowing that it's going to somebody who's going to love it. And I've done that myself. Like, you know, this is something that I know would be cherished, and therefore I'm like 50% off. Make me an offer, like, whatever. You know, at that point, it's not about making money. It's about having somebody who truly appreciates what you're doing and will support, you know, you in the end. I don't know, especially when I'm going to brand new territory. Like I got to go to amazing Hawaii and was, I know, I was like, woohoo, once in a lifetime opportunity. I know. It was exciting and wonderful. And my God, I've got a whole new appreciation for traveling con gear on an airplane.
Oh,
wow.
The airlines. I'm just saying. So yeah.
How much of their stuff did you how much of your stuff did they lose?
Or compensate?
Right? No.
Like
I always go through the extra screening process. I think I just check that, like, oh, it's a female, oh, she's white, oh, you know, like I offset all of their actual, you know, shitty.
Let me in your bra, lady. Yeah. Fuck all that,
which always sets it off. I don't know. Anyway,
going in a bra set me off too.
No, so when I went to Hawaii, I had my my prints with me, and it was like a stack and he went through each individual one, and it's like, I'm really sorry, ma'am. I'm like, I got here early knowing that this shit would happen, so take your time. It's good. And
what in the hell would
because
they
it could be LSD, Meredith.
No.
Oh,
So
God.
part of it, he explained. I love it because they'll give me more information than I absolutely need, and I didn't even ask. So some of the pigments in the ink when they print kind of activate the radiological X-ray thing that they use.
Right.
So like
Okay.
magenta, I think is what he said. Magenta or cyan, like really like ping, and they can't see through it. So they just one want to make sure that there's nothing hiding in the stack of paper. Two, also want to make sure that it's somewhat appropriate because it's going over international waters, and kitty porn is definitely a thing. So not in my universe, but they don't know me.
Right.
So anyway, so yeah, it's like a double whammy screening process. You just want to control what's coming out. Not a big deal. Shit, I was bringing a baby doll back from Phoenix, and they couldn't see through it, so they had to cut open the doll to make sure it wasn't a bomb.
Oh my God.
It was a creepy fucking doll, though. But yeah.
A murder doll?
Well, it was a very realistic looking doll. It was like one of those higher end, thick latex dolls that had like the cloth body, but it had
an expensive ass doll that they cut open.
They didn't cut open the actual doll. They had to slice open to feel along the appendages and the head to make sure that it wasn't. Yeah, but I had never heard of anything like it. I mean, it was a naked baby doll, and it looks very realistic. So I had it laid over my travel bag. So as it's going through the X-ray, like I'm secretly watching the security personnel, and it like glares by with its eyes popped open. They're like, Jesus. So I feel like I earned an extra screening process with
right.
I should have Mouse go up and get that doll. It's fucking creepy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're a bit of a jokester, aren't you?
No, this stuff happened. Like I thought that'd be the one thing I didn't have to check through FedEx and get like whatever. I had to mail back my Star Wars lightsabers, my wedding dress, and something else. And if I would have known that I was gonna get the bomb squad called on me, I probably would have checked that fucking doll.
Oh my God, that's
crazy. I know. I was all like, "Hey guys, can I take a selfie with you?" He's like, "No, this isn't fun." I'm like, "It's 6:30 in the morning. I haven't even been to bed yet." Whatever. You don't think I got better things to do with my time? Look at this face.
Nita, what were you asking?
Well, I wanted to know, like, what is your preferred art, like, okay, genre? Like, you say you do the children's stuff, we know you do adult stuff. Like, what do you prefer? Do you have a preference, or just fucking art?
Fucking art. Yeah, I know. It's weird. I know that I am especially good at doing people. So I definitely gravitate towards telling a story with people in it. But, occasionally...
Yeah, your anatomy's on point. So
thanks. I spent all of August trying to I found this guy on Instagram that let me draw. I was like, I know this is gonna be kind of creepy, but is this cool? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And so I promised to send him the pictures whenever I'm but I literally
get another exclusive.
I literally went through doing anatomy.
Nice. That is an Instagram guy?
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow. See, April, and there are people who have probably gone to classes for anatomy.
Don't name the school. Don't say the name.
I will say nothing. I will say nothing beyond that. you know, and who've really studied and they've been like, oh, the suffering, and you're like, yeah, Instagram. Can I draw you?
Right. Word.
So right before I left Arizona, I found a coffee shop that once a week would have a model come in and sit in the windowsill, and you could sit and draw her. And it was awesome. It was great. And then we moved. It's fine. So I haven't had a chance to search around Houston to see if there's something like that, though I'm sure there is. There's an art district. There's some come and eat and drink wine places and stuff. And I always feel weird when I go. Like, I went to one. My husband got me a Mother's Day gift or something where I got to do that. It was weird. Like, nobody would talk to me until they realized that I don't know, that I did it well or something. And then I was all like, yeah, no, that was so 30 minutes ago. I'm sorry. I've settled in and I'm fine being by myself. Well, they looked at me funny when I brought in like my own, like 2 of my own brushes. They're like, why'd you bring your own brush? Because I imagine that what you get is like a fucking Crayola
watercolor brush.
Yeah, like good. Yeah. Anyway.
Showing up the host. We see you, April. We see you.
No, it's fine. It's just that, you know, like I was there by myself. I feel very socially awkward. Like I'm great at like public speaking because I got in shame. But when you go out and you're like, oh, you guys are like close to my house and I'd really like to make a friend. And then, yeah, like nothing comes of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ass bitches. I'm going to stick with my con people. It's fine.
Yeah, that's and you know what we're going to do, April? We're going to take a tiny bump here. So you can have a sip of your coffee.
Ooh, and chew it.
We'll be right back. It's a teeny tiny bump. We'll be right back after this.
Okay.
And that's a little love for Mike Jimmy, Life on Cora Inner Talents Lunch Party, June 11th, hosted by RAGIN. That's right. Ooh. Nita and I are going to be hosting Mike Jimmy for the launch of his campaign. And you see our little guys, he drew them snorkeling. I love that.
They're fucking awesome. And it's our virginity launch party, too, because we've never done that before.
We've never done that before. Oh, my gosh, to be a virgin again.
Word.
So what kind of ritual did you have to go through? There, yourselves clean.
I don't know. Maybe. So I don't shake anything except when I go running, you know. And I'm like, and why would I run, you know, unless somebody's chasing after me? I don't know.
You just be faster than the person you're next to. That's all.
Right. Wow. That's it. Yeah. No. I am totally going to be eaten by the zombies. That's just.
I've got a bum knee, so I look at stairs and I'm like.
I get hit in the face with boobs, so. But I really did try to run one time. I did. I'd been walking, and then I advanced myself to a faster pace walk to my jog thing, and then one morning I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna run. I ran about a quarter of a mile, and all of a sudden my stomach was like, fuck you, girl, what you doing? And I just like stopped, and I was like, ugh!
Oh no!
As soon as I look up, a neighbor is standing there looking at me. You okay, baby? I'm like,
do I look okay? Give me some water.
Look at me.
That poor neighbor. He's had a few shows.
Only 2, Meredith. The vomit. Oh, I'm not gonna this is April.
Oh no, I think she would love that story.
Okay,
because she's got Squee After Dark after all.
Okay,
you know?
So Meredith and I started doing the accountability partner thing, and it was going to be like, you know, we're going to make sure that the others going out doing their exercise, eating right, whatever. And so the very first day I go on for my walk, I get my sneakers on and shit, and I wasn't thinking about my underclothes, man. So I just went out in the fucking panties I grabbed, which happened to be a pair of black lacy panties. And I put them on and I start walking, and I'm about a half mile from the house, and they're riding up my ass. And so I was like, fuck. And I just like, I'm going to make this fucking mile, turn around, and I'll make the other mile. Well, after I turned around and started coming back, this same fucking neighbor. But anyway, I look around and nobody's outside. I don't hear anything. It's fucking early. So I shove my hands, like take the finger hook and dig that shit out my ass. Like, and I finally get it. And I start walking again. And when I do, he's like, woo, all right. And I looked over, and it ended up being the same guy I puked in front of like 2 weeks later. So any freaking awesome ideas he had about me and my wedgie were replaced with me projectile vomiting 10 feet from him. So
fantastic.
So never wear lacy panties when you walk or run. Don't do it. It doesn't work.
Back when I gave a shit, I gave for like 6 months or less, maybe probably. I had a personal trainer, like, oh, I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna look good. Fuck it, whatever, it's fine. And I was trying to do sit-ups, and he's like, you could do it. I'm like, my boobs are practically suffocating me. Don't look at me. Yeah, because I'm classy. Jesus. Yeah, like I don't think I went back.
I firmly believe that my boobs are trying to choke me every night when I go to sleep. So
some people are really into that, from what I've understood.
Oh my god!
Well, I think that segues beautifully into Squee After Dark.
Oh,
right.
Tell us a little bit about this sketchbook. I want to know more about Kinktober, and I need to know if any of these sketches are available. You said something about your fan page.
Oh, yes. So the fan page is Reyna Art, REYNA Art, and I've got a folder that actually has all of this, the Kinktober sketches, as well as the custom variants, custom blanks that I did for people as well. Just so people know what they're getting into. I hate buyer's remorse. I hate throwing down $100 and getting basically 3 or 4 squiggles and go, hey, look, this is delirium. I'm like, you're delirious.
Right.
It's fine. But I really want people to know that, like, when they buy art from me, I don't want to say I guarantee it, but I will do my damnedest for you. Like, I don't phone it in. I know my art is going to be my legacy, because let's face it, I am no Marilyn Monroe. Like, I can't, like, I'm fun. I am a fun, really basic bitch. That's all it is. And I like to have
fun. Are you basic? You were so not basic.
Oh,
you were incredibly talented. You freaking, you're funny. Like, I mean, is there a live, love, laugh on your wall right behind you that I'm missing or something?
Oh God, no.
And girl, you are not basic.
Okay.
You're good.
Well, you just raised my self-esteem like 1,000%. No.
Okay, so what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to put up your Squee After Dark campaign. So
Yes,
all the little ones, close your eyes and stuff, because this art is just stunning.
That's Meredith's way of saying, I'm diverting you, Nita. I'm diverting you.
Oh, yes.
No, but so I know that there are a couple of pieces.
I had that up as the showcase floor kind of thing for the Kinktober thing, like Kickstarter, mature audiences, and this. Everything's covered. There's nothing that's not covered. So 4 days away from it being like, completed, they're like, you got 2 days to change this, but everything else is fine. And I'm like, yeah. So I did like a lacy, come look for more, but like basically I changed the cover piece on it, and I was like, please don't get pulled down, please don't get pulled down, please don't get pulled down, because it was a short campaign. This is my very first crowdfunding venture ever, and I swear if it didn't launch the first day, so what happened was let me start from the beginning because I'm all over the place with the copy. About September, a friend of mine, was like, well, we're making fun of like Inktober because somebody like copyrighted the name and we're like cracking jokes. And he's all like, well, there's an alternative. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sure there is. And he's like, no, really. There's Kinktober. And I'm like, shut up. And he's like, no, really. And I'm like, oh. So I look into it. I'm like, oh. He's like, well, no, you don't want to do it. You wouldn't be interested in that kind of thing. And I'm all like,
and you're like, hell yeah, I am.
Are you seriously telling me that I don't have the gumption, the balls to come to this drawing event? You just laid down the gauntlet, didn't you? I accept, sir. And so he sent me the list, and I'm like, fuck is half of this stuff? And here I am, like, Googling it because I don't know what some of the stuff is. I'm sure I got a virus on my phone. Anyway, and I wound up like really enjoying it. And it's more than just the TNA aspect of it, because let's face it, that's hell's for sure. But it's like, what else can I do to make this really exciting? How can I push myself in order to enjoy it further? So like the rope winds up bending around a thigh or digging into a buttocks or hello, Mr. Hello. I don't draw men. And so for me to take that anatomy out for a test drive, baby, like for real, like open it up, going 0 to 60 in 3 seconds kind of thing. Yeah. And I had so much fun. I mean, I literally had a lot of fun. Oh, see, they're the Kinktober lacy thing. That's what I wound up changing it to.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I had started doing the campaign and people were buying up the art left and right. Like I was getting private messages and pre-orders and I was like, wow, there might be something to this. No, you should put it in a book. You should put it in a book. You should put it in a book. And I'm like, I am so scared. I don't know what to do. Like this feels bigger than me. It sounds silly. I've always been a face-to-face artist. I've always been an advocate for charity, that kind of thing. Like I'm very happy in the shadows, and this I felt brought me out to the light. Like I don't know, it felt funny, it felt weird. And I was like, well, let me take a look. Somebody was like, yeah, it takes about 2 weeks for Kickstarter to approve your project. And I'm like going through the guidelines and I'm like, I don't know if that's a violation. I don't know if that's a violation. Fuck it. We'll just try it. I'll just build out the campaign, pretend that I'm going to do it. Oh my God. I hit the wrong button and it went live.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, shit. You know, you're like the third artist that said this story, right? That has accidentally launched.
I thought it was going to give me like a preview thing, like, hey, I'm going to pick the date that I'm going to go live, whatever.
Right. No, it just went boom.
Like a countdown started, and I was like, oh, whoa, like there was no precursor, there was no warm up to this. It just activated. So here I'm on like Facebook, like, oh fuck, like get it now.
Wow.
I think we funded in like 45 minutes or 2 hours. I don't know. It was so bizarro. So Wendy, God bless her, Wendy Shaner from Naughty Stripper Fairy Assassins. She's all Naughty Fairy Stripper Assassins. Yeah, whatever. Love her. She's all like, girl, you need to build out your platform a little bit. I'm like, I don't know how. So here she's like sending me like go to this menu and drop this, and you can drop your pictures here, and you can fill out this and blah blah blah. And I'm all like, oh. And so I was doing it while I was at the playground, like for my daughter to go play. And I was just like, oh God, take a look at this and see if I did it right. And yeah, it worked out all right. I can't believe it funded so quickly. I can't believe how successful it was. I can't believe the amount of people, artists, con promoters, shit, even my husband's all like, this is good work. I mean, call it what you will, but the The poses are exciting. The color choices are enticing. The fanciful mer creatures. I think the weirdest one I did was a bondage centaur. Like that one got like 500 and some odd likes on Instagram. I'm like, whoa, that must have been an algorithm screw up because I've never had anything close to that before. Yeah, like it was, I don't know, it blew my ever loving mind. And oh, is. She's amazing. Anyway, yeah, so that just accidentally, I don't know, it accidentally was amazing, and it was a short and sweet campaign, and I was excited. It's obviously still talked about, so like there's a huge outpour of whether or not I'm going to do it again for this upcoming October, and I'm very tempted, and I think it's going to be a definite yes, except I don't know if I'm going to do the whole month like I do Mermaid, or if I'm going to do like that short and sweet, like 2-week, like get her done, thank you ma'am,
right,
before they catch on. Because yeah. And
so is that something that you practice? Like, I mean, like challenges like that, daily challenges?
Yeah, I find that it's really helpful for getting into the groove. So with the anatomy thing, like I was just looking for a challenge, and it was the gauntlet that came down, and I realized by the time it was done, mind you, it was officially done by like the first week of December, because I had all of the leftover commissions to do and stuff for that campaign. By the time it was done, I didn't realize how much faster I got, how much better my artwork was, my turning off my brain and just doing it, like that got so much better. And that's the same with sequential art too. Like if you about 10 pages in, you realize that you've got a rhythm, and by like the second issue, you realize what your flaws were from the first issue so that you don't carry it over to the next one. Yeah, like anything that you do with practice, you definitely I don't know, you notice it and you keep it going. So when that that 1 inch of ice that came through back in February and shut down the entire state of Texas, that was fun. Right. Well, we were without power for like 48 hours and without water for 3.5 days. And by the time that was all said and done, and it took about a week for everything to get sanitized and back to normal, I literally would sit at my art desk and I just felt nauseous. Like I didn't know where to start. I had so much work to do. I'm like, I couldn't focus. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to put together my own Batman challenge. I got a ton of Batman blanks laying around. So I just sat down and created a list and posted the list. And that was, I think I did that back in March. One a day. I skimped out on Talia on the last, I had, it was by that second week, I was not feeling nauseous sitting at my art desk, and the work I was producing was getting better. And like, it was something I did for myself, and it got me through that hump. And so this is actually my third daily challenge campaign, the Mermaid Rising Tides campaign. And yeah, like I feel it. Like I am jazzed every time I sit down. My daughter came down, like she did a virtual day today, and she's like, Mom, I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? No, this is my time. Get her. Go do some algebra. Right. So she just was coming over and just like messing with me, and I was like, you're supposed to be in school.
Right. So, I'm looking forward to 3 days with my husband being off from work, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to your husband being 3 days home from work.
I'm not going to get anything done. But I mean, speaking of lists, we see the list for Rising Tides
Yes.
on your campaign here. Now, was this something that you also posted online so that other people could participate, or was it something that you kind of kept to yourself?
I did no. I posted, so there was a mermaid group on Instagram, and I messaged them, and after I was like, hey, when does the mermaid campaign list come out in and I think I messaged them back in March. It's a little early, don't get me wrong, but I didn't hear anything and I didn't hear anything. And by the time, like, I knew I was going to do this. I knew I wanted to campaign for it. I knew that I needed help with my social media part of it, which is why I found Lisa Malone with Malone Management to help me streamline my vision and help me create a successful campaign. And I was wanting to give myself enough time so it wasn't feeling rushed, it wasn't being rushed. So I got tired of waiting, and so this is my own list. And yeah, I did post it on my social media platforms, and I was really, really excited that I got to choose my own. Now, mind you, when I made this list, I didn't have things in mind. And that's what part of the fun is like, I come to that day and I get all panicky and I'm like, oh God, what am I going to draw? And then I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, yeah. And follow this down the rabbit hole and, shit out something amazing. And that is some of the fun. You're like, hey, I just surprised myself.
Mm-hmm. You know what? That's it's so funny because my father used to have this policy of saying yes. It's like, hey, Bewley, can you do this? And he's like, yes. And then he'd come home in a panic, be like, oh shit, I got some reading to do,
Yeah, right.
And so it's like that can-do attitude that I absolutely love and I totally relate to, and I love the idea of doing the challenges to get the brain going, because I'm not an artist, but I am a writer. And, oftentimes when you're stuck, I'm desperate for writing prompts. So whether it is maybe going to Pixabay and just doing a search, just a random search of a word and seeing what pops up. It's like, okay, write a story about that. Or looking up the word of the day, and trying to write a story around that. So it's just that's kind of cool that the artist brain does that too.
I overthink myself right into a hole. Like, I can literally trip over and knock myself out of the running by overthinking a lot of stuff. And like today's was serpent, and I was like, why did I even put that on there? And they're like, oh no, wait, I got an idea. Rockabilly was fascinating because I was like, Jesus, like, that's completely, what the hell am I doing to myself? And then freaking amazing. And so it's just surprising. You never know what you're gonna come up with.
She's sharing again.
You bet your ass. I'm very proud of most of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that is gorgeous.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
See, now I see the anatomy and everything, but I'm looking at the work you did on the ship.
I know, right? And that's what gets me into some trouble sometimes, is that it winds up distracting from the main figure. I was doing a piece where, so with this campaign, what's fun about Squee After Dark was that, I was probably halfway through it before my friend Rachel was like, hey girl, I love you and everything, but
there's always a but.
You're not really incorporating, like, people who look like me. And I'm like, oh shit, I literally have been using the same 3 markers that were just randomly on my desk, which happened to be Caucasian colors. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you for telling me. Thank you. because now I'm intentionally going through and I'm doing men. I'm doing, I'm trying to do ethnic, trying to find, So with this one, somebody said it looked really muddy, just because I added so much to it. And I'm like, God, this one is probably my favorite out of the whole thing. I was going for a Native Alaskan Eskimo kind of thing.
I love this one. I love this one.
And so I can see how with the walruses behind her that would be a little like distracting, or that I chose a catfish tail, which is a little less glamorous.
No, but she pops right off the page.
Yeah. And so I was excited that somebody was like, no, I love her. She is fierce as fuck and I have to have her. And I was like, oh my God, I love you so much.
Yeah, I love her.
So far, she's my favorite. But I'm sorry, like everything's everywhere. But today was Serpent, and I've got him fighting or wrestling with an iguana, and he's got like rainbow dreads and actual facial hair. So I mean, I'm trying to like mix it up. I'm trying to do different things. I've got one piece that I want to turn into a sticker. So the guy I was going to have my stickers done, like he wound up having an injury to his hand. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, I'll get the stickers done. It's not a big deal. So I apologize. I don't have that. I know it's unlocked. It's just not like done yet.
Done.
Yeah. It's so funny that he sent me this sketch and it's got a mermaid eating fish sticks. And I'm like, I just died. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I need to print it out, and I have to hand do it. I was trying to like ink it on the computer, and I'm not good with it. I've got a new stylet, and I can get the arc, but to a certain point, like the waves of the hair and like my brain just shuts down. I can't process it. It's too weird for me. But I was thinking about doing her as a sticker too.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And I just love little pearls in her hair, and I'm terrified to use traditional media because the browns wind up becoming very murky, and it steals away from the natural glow of like the purple highlights or the rosiness of the cheeks and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of that gets lost in translation. Copic markers are fantastic for a lot of things. I do not like their purples. I do not like their browns. And I keep struggling to make it work in my favor. But at some point, you just have to give up the ghost and go, wow, digital is going to be the best one for this. But I can see her in like orange sherbet-y style hues for her fins and for her scale work, and like the rose petal, like that light pink, that blush pink. And then of course, like with her natural like ebony skin, like I don't want to hide from the diversity of it. Like it sounds, I feel like such a Karen, and then I'm trying to do
you don't want to hide the color.
Yeah,
you know?
I want to.
I mean, that's basically what it is. You know, because I don't think anybody is the same color. I mean, that's just me. You know, people are like, well, you're white. And I'm like, well, I'm half Korean. So, you know, I've been called yellow. And I'm like, you look at me any other day and like, I've got green veins and stuff like that. It's like, do those colors count? You know, and it's just like my weird thing. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, I think people get a little bit sensitive with that. It's like, why? I mean, color is beautiful.
It really is. And really, like, it's so much easier to choose lighter tones to have the color of the paper come through. And that's what it is. It's just like that, like I work light to dark. And so thinking about it differently. Like, I want to embrace, I want to include. I actively, like, I love her so much for letting me know, because I didn't think about it. It's one thing to draw somebody with purple skin or somebody with blue skin, because I was doing fairies and mermaids stuff with sweet champagne. But it's different when you give them Caucasian features, thin lips, very normal, like, I don't know, straight hair or a light wave or whatever. Like you can tell that it's not really embracing the rest of the world. So I'm trying very hard with this campaign. I even got to do a hefty mermaid. I'm excited. Doing another one. I just haven't figured out which day I'm going to have her be, but I've already got the pose and everything. Like,
oh goodness,
to figure out what I'm going to do. But I am incredibly proud of this lady.
Wow.
So nice.
Beautiful.
She is.
And there's so much color and there's so much pizzazz. I just love her.
It is like the shine and the highlights and her curves and everything like that. It's like, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I mean, to get like the depth in those images, and I'm like, marker? No.
Nope, not me.
I got turned on to paint pens too, and that helps whenever I get a little too crazy or a little too thick with my jewel tones or something. And then I can go back with those paint pens and kind of incorporate, I can pull it back a little bit. And I love it. I did that with her. I was going for like an oil slick look where you get that rainbow color. So you get those darkest of darks and you get like some really vibrant color at the same time. I thought it came out very successful, especially when I doused it in spray glitter.
It's gorgeous.
Okay, so now we're looking at your campaign right now. Because this is active. Now, how long do you have left on your campaign?
Going until the end of May. My Kickstarter is active from May 1st to May 31st. So I want to say we've got about 2 weeks left, maybe 13, 12 days, something like that. I do have my Indiegogo platform that we are almost finished building out, and it will have different covers. In fact, we've even got like a pseudo kinky cover too. It's PG-13. It just alludes to some naughtiness. I have nicknamed it Salt Lick.
I love it.
I love it.
Here, let me send it to you so you can post it.
Oh my gosh. And then of course you've got your blank variant custom covers, the Kickstarter exclusives, and you mentioned something about an Indiegogo exclusive potentially.
Shelby Robertson has done a cover, and it is fierce, like woman on the rocks, hair blowing, sea foam around, and she's got some, like pirate swords or something. Like, it is phenomenal. Like, think like Fathom colors kind of thing. It's fabulous. So I can't wait to debut that. And then let's see. So I sent you the thing through Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
And then this will be the regular cover. I sent that as well. For Indiegogo. So they're going to be the same interiors, but it'll have different cover options. And I think that I can probably do like a cover gallery in the back if I can, I think that we've already blown past just so many of the benchmarkers that would prevent the add-on pages. So I think I'll be able to add that in without any negative repercussions for my print job.
See, now the anglerfish here, I saw that and I was just like, oh my God.
Right.
It's so dark and it's beautiful, and I'm like, I love the dark. You know,
I can't believe nobody's bought that one. That is my favorite.
He's in love with this one. He was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I also I just like 2 days ago, I don't even no, I think I uploaded it to Google Drive today. I just got done doing prehistoric, and I was pulling from the same kind of reference. I was, rather than anglerfish, I was thinking trilobites, like very lobster-esque, but with like sharpie, like spiky things. So that one, I thought it was too simple at first, but it wound up being like everybody's favorite. And I think it's just got everything to do with the pose and the wispiness, or the what do you call it?
It's very soft and calming.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I could probably stare at that like I would an aquarium, you know?
This one's this is my second favorite. Well, who doesn't love unicorns? And I always consider narwhals like kind of like the unicorns of the sea.
I saw a great meme. It was a fucking horse standing on the side of the sea, right? And he's looking over there, and a narwhal pops up. He's like, "I'm gonna hit that," and then the product was the fucking narwhal.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So yeah, a lot of these prints with our print bundle are going to be they were done prior to the campaign. I printed them prior to COVID happening, and I figure, well, this ties in rather nicely, and they're really good quality prints. They're 11 by 17 in size. Shelby Robertson did some colors on there. Some of them are hand colored, like that fine gentleman there. And I for like $30, you get not only a copy of the book, but you get 5 random pieces. Everything's going to be signed. I want people to love, this. I want them to be very happy with their purchase. I don't want anybody to sit there and question whether or not they're going to get quality product with me.
Well, the thing that is amazing to me is how you draw water. I mean, that cannot be easy.
Right.
And doing it well.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's just stunning to me. It's like, how in the world, because it has movement, but obviously it's a printed product,
Yeah, well, with the digital coloring, there's a lot of ways that you can get around it, and I don't know. When I did the Dead Divas cover for Bianca, I went through and made literally, I swear to God, 100 layers in Photoshop, and it was insane. But whenever I'm doing it by hand, I have been using my little Copic airbrush thing, and this thing is amazing. I can get that transition of color without the streakage. And I don't know about you, but I fucking hate streakage. It just seems like you need to just soak up the ink to get it going. I will swipe over something 4 times to get it to be a solid color, and it drives me crazy. So,
she's grabbing some more stuff to show us.
Show us something else. I love it.
Show your stuff.
It must be in the boxes over there. I've even done nursing comic books. That's going to be new for con. But yeah, no, there's. I just no matter what it is. And it's one of those I gotta color. But yeah, No, I've got like boxes and boxes and boxes of art. 2 years ago, I started doing sketch cards for Dynamite. So I've got an entire album of like tons of sketch cards now. Then this last year, I've been focusing on doing cover art. Like, I really want to get somewhat professional, not display, what do I want to say, portfolio. I want to get a somewhat professional portfolio so that I can show up and go, oh yeah, I could totally draw Fathom. That would be like, sure. And then like pass out from like, you know, a squee overload or something at my table. Try to keep it together in the face of everything, but like lose my shit behind the curtains.
Right. Now, you know, when it comes to the portfolio and everything, what would be the best advice you could give artists who are kind of going to cons now and, you know, they're hunting for the next job or the next opportunity? Like, what do you think that they need in their portfolio?
I think they got to be happy with the work that they're doing. If they can be happy with the work that they're doing, they have to be able to show it. Mm-hmm. Can you take your portfolio and go show it to somebody and be like, hey, I need honest feedback. Don't blow smoke up my skirt. Don't try to like pat me on the back and be like, it's okay, man, you can do it. No, put your best foot forward. Don't take a sketchbook that has like 30 doodles in between the 5 or 6 pieces that you want to show. Like, really, I don't know, try. Mm-hmm. Take out those images, put them into even a 3-ring binder and be like, hey, these are my latest pieces I'm very proud of. Can you give me some direction? And sometimes what they can say might be hurtful at first, but listen to what they're saying. Mm-hmm. Are you showing good expression? Are you giving an environment around your character? Are you telling a story, or is it just character design? Are you wanting review on the colored version or pencil version? Like, be very clear on what you're asking them to showcase, because if you're a colorist and drawing isn't your forte, then maybe you need to borrow some pencils or inks from somebody and color them and be like, don't review the line art, review the colors. Mm-hmm. If you're a penciler and you're expecting them to judge it on its entirety and it's in color, you got to show them the pencils. You got to show them the groundwork that you're working with. When I showed my portfolio last, I got told by Vince Hernandez with Aspen Comics and Brian Polito both, inking is not my strong suit. That is my weakest link. So when I go through and I start showing them my colored prints and stuff, they don't want to see the colored prints, because what they're focusing on is the high contrast, and they're seeing my weakness in my inks. Mm-hmm. They want to see, if I'm inking it, they want to see the pencils beforehand, and then I can show them the inks on the other page if I want to. But they want to see what my best foot forward is. Mike DeBalfo told me that if I am wanting to have people flip through my portfolio, because very often publishers will come through and they look like everybody else. They flip to the first page and they'll skip through 2 or 3 pages and then they'll move on. And based on the step that you're most proud of being at the front, that might be the make or break point for you getting asked back to do stuff for them professionally. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, but I just do it in chronological order when I get it done. He's like, no, you have to redo your portfolio at every show. And I'm like, fuck me. Are you kidding?
That sounds like a lot of work.
I literally have 5 albums now of art that I have to go through. And I'm just like, Jesus. Okay. Right. So, I mean, I absorb the information. Do I do it? Sure. But, you know, I can at least tell people what I've heard, what I've listened to, what people tell me. And, you know, somebody might benefit from that that knowledge. I don't know. But it's a very competitive industry.
Yeah.
You cannot be sensitive. If you are sensitive, and it's okay to be, it's okay. Then just focus on your own story, focus on your own publication. Go ahead and show it to people. But it's not like you're competing to work for Aspen. It's not like you're competing to work for DC. Like your focus is going to be different. And that is great. Because if you break into the industry, there are 5 other people right on your coattails hoping that you fail. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
For any guy or girl or young or old, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you can meet a deadline. What matters is you can do clear communication, that you can take feedback from an editor, because they're not there to be your friend. They're there to be, well, at the helm of the ship, trying to guide it to the port. It's hard. And I wouldn't say it just to be an asshole, because there's tons of those people out there too. But what they want to see is progress. I am so goddamn lucky. I am so goddamn lucky because I grew up in, I didn't realize it at that time, a hub. Phoenix, Arizona was a hub. And I got very friendly with a lot of people who are very successful in the comic industry. And I am so lucky. I don't know if everybody is that lucky, but I am, and I am grateful because I'm not cool. I didn't grow up in comics.
I think you're
cool. Saying that. You're so
I'm not cool. So here's the thing. If I say that I'm a badass and I have to show up going, oh yeah, I'm all that and I know what I'm talking about. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. I know what I'd like to asshole. Right. At least I'll buy you a drink before I crush your dreams. No, but in all seriousness, I got very lucky that I was in a very good environment where people were willing to sit down with me and kind of talk comics with me and give me a fighting chance. And sometimes it's all you need. And I am competitive. I am. For Justin to be like, you don't want to do this kind of art. Fuck yeah, I do. I didn't really. But, saying that I can't, now all of a sudden I got something to prove. Like, who does that? Not well-adjusted people, I'm just saying. And it's great, though, because, you just have to be open to trying new things. You have to be open to hearing what you need to do better. I know that I'm not all that, but I know that to stop drawing is not going to happen. I tried that when I tried to become an evil science genius, and math kicked my ass. And it's okay, because obviously I got a few limitations, and it's good because now I feel human. Huh. Yeah. But I also know that if nothing else were to change in my life, I would still be at this desk drawing to satisfy myself. And I am my own worst enemy aside from my husband. And that's why I married him. I'm like, I'm not looking for you to tell me I look pretty in this dress. Let's face it, it's going to come off anyway. But no, seriously, we need people in our life that are going to tell us the honest God's truth. And most of the people that are going to be at cons, like, they're either coming into their own or they've done a few, school of hard knocks. And it's great that they can share that with people, because comics will break your heart. I mean, it'll bleed you dry. It'll leave you like feeling like you gave everything and it wasn't good enough. And here's the thing, though. If you're doing it for that, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Motivation is everything.
Yeah, you got to do it for yourself. And it's great when people notice. But nobody owes you shit in this industry, and they'll be the first people to tell you. And it's great. So
I love that, April. You know what we did? We blew past our hour.
Jeez.
We blew past an hour, so we are actually going to close this out pretty soon. But I did have one more question to ask you, okay?
Yes,
please tell me about Kids Need to Read.
Oh,
yeah.
I love kids need to read. So I'm a huge advocate for charity work. I am. I absolutely adore giving back to the community because in some of my darkest of times, y'all have lifted me up. And I volunteer a lot in the school too. And I realized they're not all that excited about doing math homework. They're not all that excited about reading books that don't have pictures. Hell, even reading, period, whether it has pictures or not. And it's hard to get kids to enjoy stuff like that. Like it feels very normal for us, but we didn't grow up with the internet at our disposal or game consoles at our disposal morning, noon, and night. Kids Need to Read. They actually funnel comic books into underprivileged areas or even schools, or like they do a lot of good work in trying to get kids involved. The great thing about our generation, not me particularly because I didn't grow up around comic books and stuff, I got into it late and, whatever, it's fine. But I'm here now.
I feel you.
Right. But, living in larger populaces, I love living in the city because I didn't have it growing up. There are comic book stores around. There are lots of schools, lots of areas donating and trying to get kids excited about, well, something other than gangs and drugs and premarital sex and whatever else that steers us off our path. I don't know, they do a lot of good stuff, and I donate every year. They either get original art from me, and I'm not talking like, oh, I doodled this on a napkin, here you go. No, I really do give an effort. And I also do their charity poker tournament. So there for the first 2 or 3 years, Jen Broomall would do the live auction, the live draw auction, and the proceeds all go back to Kids Need to Read. And a couple of years ago, she stopped going out there for what reason, I don't know. And they asked me to step up to the plate.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
What? But I brought my own alcohol. I was gonna get wasted and do some cards. And they're like, oh, you still can. I'm like, oh well, then
okay.
I'll pre-draw it a little bit and see where I go. And yeah, so the second year, I kind of expected them to ask me again because I knew Jen wasn't going back out and everybody loves me. And that's actually the Brian Pulido Coffin Comics cover story. So
that's awesome.
It was really, really great. I love giving back to our communities. Guys, here's the thing. We are stronger together than we are divided. Like, the greatest thing that up and coming artists can do is to put yourself out there. And it's scary. And you don't like talking, sorry, Charlie, you're going to have to talk. And a really great way to do that and just get it out of the way is when you go to Comic-Con, ask, hey, can I be on a panel? Do you have anything about this? I actually have some experience, whether it's crowdfunding, creating a comic, starting out, copyrights. I don't know. Like, there's a ton of things, and that's how you meet people. That's how I don't know. They've got drawing panels where you can do live drawings and pass them out and advertise. Like, that is one of the things I learned very early on when people would come up and be like, hey, April, you're really good with kids. You want to come and do a My Little Pony panel? I'm like, yeah, of course.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So it's really fun. It's scary. I'm not going to say it's not, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen, what somebody's going to ask, what they're going to ask you to draw, whatever. But here's what they are going to remember. They're going to remember that you had a smile on your face. They're going to remember that you had a good time, that you were not afraid to say, oh, I don't know. Tell me more about what you like. And then don't forget to bring business cards, pencils, and paper to those panels, because you might doodle something and give it out. And next thing you know, people are going to be like, oh, I love that. And they're going to stop by your table and they'll be like, I don't know if you remember me from your panel, but and I'm like, oh my God. And before you know it, you may not be, but you feel like this is worth doing. So, yeah, Kids Need to Read is just one of the, just one charity that I appreciate donating to. But I know that throughout the country, there are tons of places that are anxious to have donations to. And I certainly hope that, people aren't afraid to donate something better than a print that you could buy at their table. Like, it's nice to have something unique to give or to purchase. People will buy it, and that money goes back into funding those organizations, because everybody's hurting, especially now with COVID.
Yeah.
Fundraising is hard. And I just, for the first time for our middle school, I'm on our PTO, like I offered art lessons. What was I thinking? I'm great with kids, don't get me wrong, but I swear, like a sailor, who's going to want me around their children?
I love you. You can have mine.
But I will never say no. I will never say no. I'll be right there, on the front lines, making the magic happen, because let's face it, those kids are going to be right on my heels going, I want to create comics. I want to create art because of, I don't know,
because
maybe
you're cool, April, because you are cool.
I'm cool. Oh,
Totally.
the glitter just
spraying the glitter all over the place. And just for anybody who's watching live or on the replay, make sure that you head over and follow April all over the place. We've got her links in the show notes. Make sure that you head over to Kickstarter also. Rising Tides, Tales of the Deep.
Mm-hmm.
Get over there, give it some love. If you've already backed it, great. Share it and share it again, because she's only got 10 more days to go. 65
Ooh.
backers. April, final words.
Go forth and be amazing. And squee!
I'm so glad you ended with that. And we're out of here, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Ragin, episode 12 with April Grady-Reyna. We love her. Squee!
Awesome.
We're out of here.